Okay, here we are at the back of the village of Warlencourt in the sunken road. We've just travelled along the sunken road. This is where the forming up point was for the attack on Malt Trench, the back of Warlencourt, the sunken road, and the position that they moved back to after dark. Up there, actually at Malt Trench, during the attack, is where Captain Percy Herbert won the military cross. He won his military cross for conspicuous bravery and gallantry in action in the attack on Malt Trench north of Warlencourt on the night of the 1st, 2nd of March. He led his company with great dash and bravery. The wire was not well cut, but he ran along the edge of the entanglements for a distance of about 50 yards until he found an opening, through which he led his men in single file. On entering the trench, he met fierce opposition, but he rallied his men and cleared the trench, connecting up with companies on his right and left. His efforts throughout were most gallant and inspiring, and although he was wounded, remained on duty. He captured 2 enemy machine guns, one of which he personally turned on the enemy. In the distance on the horizon there, you can see that this is the start point for the attack, and Malt Trench was up on the horizon line across this field. Here we are at the village of Lagnicourt in France. On the 26th of March 1917, these were the jumping off trenches for the attack by the 26th Battalion A.I.F. This is where they formed up to attack Lagnicourt. They were tasked with taking and securing the village. Captain Percy Herbert, an orchardist from Craddock, was a captain commanding C Company at the time, and he led his men into Lagnicourt, where he was to win the Victoria Cross and die later the same day. We're now going to move into the village of Lagnicourt and go to the exact spot where Percy won his VC. Cut. Percy was leading C Company of the 26th Battalion through Lagnicourt, where he was held up by a German strong point right in this location here. A large crater at this intersection which had been fortified by the Germans, and he couldn't get past. He sent an urgent message back. Held up by strong point, have you any Stokes mortars? Half an hour later, he sent a second message. Can't wait for Stokes, having a go at it. Will report result later. His third report read, got them with the Lewis guns and rifle bombs from the flanks. The lot killed, damned good. He did not mention that he had been wounded. His capture of the crater complete, Cherry pressed on through the village. He was now supposed to withdraw into reserve, but his experienced military sense told him that the Germans would counterattack, so he stayed in his position. Under his leadership, the Australians beat off several heavy counterattacks. Having noticed that the German troops were firing yellow flares to indicate their positions to their own gunners, he fired some captured flares from the Australian positions. The German shelling moved away. However, later in the same day, a single shell killed Captain and several other officers. He was awarded the Victoria Cross for most conspicuous bravery, determination and leadership, but he never knew of the award. This is the final resting place of Captain Percy Herbert. His remains were removed from where he was buried on the side of the road just outside of Lagnicourt, moved here to the Bussy Cemetery, Quillant Road, and his parents insisted that the word Tasmania be put on his headstone, which is quite unusual, lest we forget.